This is a Planet Vero production for Evergreen Media. And now it's time to put you on the spot with EGM.
Hello and welcome to On the Spot with EGM. I'm Jesse Krisky, and we have a great play coming to the Riverside Theater March 21st through April 9th. It's Oleanna, and it's playing at the Waxlax stage at Riverside Theater. It's the original power play of He Said, She Said. And joining us today is the cast of Oleanna. We have Dani Nelson, who plays Carol. Hi, Dani.
Hi.
And we also have Denis Lambert, who plays John. Hey, Denis, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. All right. So Oleanna, it's the original He Said, She Said. It's written by David Mamet, who is a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright. And so let's talk a little bit about what this play is about. Can you give us a little summary before we get into the meat of it?
Take it away, Denis.
Yeah. So I play John. I'm a college professor of education, and Carol is my student, and she comes into the office wanting help with her grade. And this conversation very quickly escalates and gets more complicated, and she accuses me of sexual harassment. And yeah, it's he said, she said. It gets... the waters get deep very quickly.
Now, all right, and so Oleanna premiered in Cambridge, Massachusetts, 1992. So it's been a while since this play came out, but this is a theme that still resonates today, especially with the Me Too movement.
Absolutely.
And so, can you talk a little bit about the power struggle that we see in the play and what's going on, and maybe Dani, maybe you could touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, something we've been talking about a lot in rehearsal is how relevant this play really is today, maybe even more relevant than when it came out in 1992. These questions around people who are in positions of power and positions of authority, like a college professor, where those boundaries are and when they may intentionally or unintentionally cross those boundaries, what the repercussions should be, how we should talk about those kinds of things. And when you have someone like Carol, who's a young college student, how much we should expect her to be able to navigate that on her own. But I do think that the play presents it, and especially the way that we're doing this production, presents these questions in a really nuanced way where it's kind of hard to choose a side. Okay, yeah. And I like that plays that kind of ask you to choose a side, but you really can't. You're kind of torn between one or the other, and it kind of makes you think, it sounds like, right? Mm-hmm. That's definitely what we're hoping for.
They're both flawed. Yeah. David Mamet is not writing a hero or a villain here. So part of what makes the play challenging and exciting is that, as humans, we sometimes want to choose a hero and a villain, and he makes it very, very hard for us to do that in this particular play.
Yeah, and it seems like that's more of a style that's being written about today than it sounds like, the flawed characters. I don't know if they were too prevalent in the early 90s, right? I mean,
totally. Yeah, I think especially for, like a female character like Carol, as an actor, it's really exciting to get to play someone who isn't, clearly like a damsel in distress, or isn't, clearly this like vicious villain, that there is that complexity. And I think that is really more of a modern style of writing characters that Mamet was doing 30 years ago.
Great. And so, Dani, you play Carol, and Denis, you play John, but the title of the play is Oleanna. Where does that come from?
So it's actually a quote from a folk song. Oh, to be an Oleanna, that's where I would rather be than be bound in Norway and drag the chains of slavery. So it's about a utopia, and David Mamet used it because he's writing about a dystopia. So we were just talking about heroes and villains, but actually the system is the villain. David Mamet is looking at higher education and saying it's become a dystopia, essentially.
Okay.
That we're both victims of the system and of the power struggles.
Okay, very good. Denis, you play John. Can you how do you relate to your character? Obviously, I don't know much about you, but I'm assuming you've never been a professor before.
No, I haven't been a professor, but I do coach actors as my second job in addition to being an actor myself. Okay. Though that's not in a formal way, so that's very different. But I mean, honestly, I relate to him because I'm also a white man. And so, the play is really examining what it is to be a white man and that privilege and being aware of it and being unaware of it. And so honestly, that's the way I relate most to him.
Okay. And Dani, I guess it's the same question. How can you relate to your character?
Yeah, I think Carol, really throughout the play, we see her evolve in so many ways, but I think at the heart of her, what she really wants is to be understood and to get some validation. She really wants to be seen, and that is something I think anyone can understand, but definitely I really connect to with Carol, that I think while her tactics might be flawed, I think that at the heart of it for her is that she just really wants to be understood.
Okay, very good. And now let's mention that Oleanna is March 21st through April 9th. It's on the Wax Lax stage, and if you've never seen a play at the Wax Lax stage, it's a very intimate setting, and you feel like, I mean, this is like live theater. It's right in front of you, and it's really amazing. And this is a provocative play. And also, we should mention that it has adult language, so beware of that. But it's March 21st through April 9th, and get your tickets at riversidetheater.com. All right, so Denis, where did you get your start? Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your career.
I'm from Calgary, Canada. I'm a French Canadian, not from Quebec, which is why I say my name the French way.
Okay.
The first thing I wanted to be was a magician, actually, and my family would call me Denis. And I was also a boy soprano. I would sing "O Canada" at various athletic events. I did my undergrad in musical theater and moved to New York, where I still live. And I did Broadway shows, off-Broadway shows, and a bunch of regional theater. And in the last few years have moved towards doing more straight plays like this one. Yeah.
All right, very good. And Dani Nelson, where did you get your start in your career? And how did you know you wanted to be on stage?
Yeah, well, I kind of grew up all over. My dad was a United States Marine, so I moved a ton as a kid, but I was always in community theater or school theater groups, theater clubs. It was really a way for me to find community everywhere that we moved. And I went to school actually for philosophy and classic literature. I worked in politics for a bit and then later in winemaking. But the through line through all of that was being on stage. And I ended up getting my master's degree in acting in the United Kingdom in Scotland. And that was when I really made it a full professional career and moved to New York City after that. So I've been working in the theater and in film ever since.
Incredible. All right. So you've both taken interesting paths to get here, and you're here today, and we're glad for that. And is this your first time in Vero Beach?
It's my first time in Vero Beach.
Okay.
Yes, we've been here about a week, and I've already fallen in love with all the sunshine and sand, and the people have been so friendly.
Well, that's great. And Denis, your first time in Vero?
I was actually here in 2015 doing Swinging on a Star on the main stage, which was a review of Johnny Burke songs. So I know it's a beautiful place, and I'm thrilled to be back.
That's awesome. All right. And Denis, what is next for you after Oleanna?
I am doing a couple days on a movie in April, and then I shot a film called Pony Boy recently that is going to be coming out at the end of the year that I'm really excited about. So I can't tell you too much about it yet, but I think it's going to be a very, very cool thing.
Can you tell us where to look for it?
I don't have all that info yet, and I'm not at liberty to speak about it actually. Okay. But it will be coming out. Yes.
Very good. And Dani, yeah, very exciting. And Dani, what's up next on your career?
In terms of theater, I don't have anything lined up yet, but I do a lot of voiceover. So I have an animated show called Bread Barbershop that's I'm on the newest season that'll be premiering on Netflix next month.
Oh, great. All right. So we'll look for that on Netflix, definitely. And so, all right. So Oleanna, March 21st through April 9th, riversidetheater.com. Is there anything that we haven't touched on yet that the people really need to know about Oleanna?
I think one thing that was shared with us, when we got cast was that this show was done as the very first play in the second stage theater series at Riverside back in 1995. So it's just so amazing that they're bringing it back for the 50th anniversary year. And so we're really excited to be a part of sort of returning to this great play.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and that it was done in 1995, only 3 years after the play premiered. And now it's many years later, and it's no longer the 1990s. And we've been through Me Too, and we're talking about cancel culture. And so the conversation, it's just as relevant, if not more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to put it. All right, very good. Dani Nelson, who plays Carol in Oleanna, and Denis Lambert, who plays John in Oleanna. We thank you for being on the spot with us. And go see.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you. And go see Oleanna March 21st through April 9th. Get your tickets at riversidetheater.com. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. And stay tuned to Planet Vero Radio.